us all to jail for investigation, they said. The temple president told them, can you please give us some time to finish our spiritual morning program? Because Bhagavatam class hasn't been given yet. They said, okay, you have only half an hour. So the temple president asked the devotee to read from the Krishna book. At that time, it wasn't in Spanish, it was in English, but the devotee knew how to translate it in Spanish. So randomly, the devotee opened the Krishna book and came up the first page of this chapter, the atrocities of King Kamsa. So we all laughed. The police were, what? These people, we are going to take them to jail, and they're laughing, you know, what's wrong with them? Anyway, so when we read that he was persecuting the Brahmanas and the saintly person, you know, so it's okay, I mean, modern day Kamsa, you know. So they took us to jail, and they put us in a cell, you know. A few cells, you know, that's at the police station, you know. And we took the Mridanga and Kartal with us, and so we had a kirtan, you know. We had a kirtan, and all the other inmates, they were playing with their spoons and plates, you know, accompanying the kirtan, you know. So we didn't have any breakfast, so around noon, devotees living outside, they brought us prasad, you know, around noontime. So we asked them to please give prasad not only to the other inmates, but also to the police officer who arrested us, you know. So they accepted the prasad, and they were apologizing and said, we know you are good people, nice people, and with so many criminals out there, we are wasting our time with you here, but we had to obey orders, you know, what we could do. So they were apologizing like that. And that same evening, they released us because there were no charges. The idea was to frighten us, so we'll not go back to the temple, rather go to our parents, back to them, whatever. Because some of our devotees were coming from rich families or even political families, and so the parents didn't want them to be in the movement, so they also tried to frighten them somehow. But that didn't work, because we became more determined, you know, to be devotees and live in the temple like that, you know. Anyway, so let's read the first text. Shri Shukka Uvacha Bhairanta Puradwara Sarva Purvavad Avritaha Tato Bala Dvanim Shrutva Grihapala Samuttitaha Shishukuvacha Bhairanta Puradwara Sarva Purvavad Avritaha Tato Bala Dvanim Shrutva Grihapala Samuttitaha Shri Shukuvacha Bhairanta Puradwara Sarva Purvavad Avritaha Tato Bala Dvanim Shrutva Grihapala Samuttitaha. Samu. Ladies, Shri Shuka Uvacha. Shri Shukadeva Goswami said, Bhayanta Puradwara, the doors inside and outside the house, Sarva, all, Purvavat, like before, Avritaha, closed, Tata, thereafter, Baladwanim, the cry of the newborn child, Shrutva, hearing, Grihapala, or the inhabitants of the house, especially the doorman, Samuttita, awakened. Shukadeva Goswami continued, my dear King Parikshit, the doors inside and outside the house closed as before. Thereafter, the inhabitants of the house, especially the watchmen, hear the crying of the newborn child and thus awaken from their beds. Purport. The activities of yogamaya are distinctly visible in this chapter, in which Devaki and Vasudeva excuse Kamsa for his many devious, atrocious activities. And Kamsa becomes repentant and falls at their feet. Before the awakening of the watchman and the others in the prison house, many other things happened. Krishna was born and transferred to the home of Yashoda and Gokula. The strong doors opened and again closed, and Vasudeva resumed his former condition of being shackled. The watchmen, however, could not understand all this. They awakened only when they hear the crying of the newborn child, yogamaya. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has remarked that the watchmen were just like dogs. At night, the dogs in the street act like watchmen. If one dog barks, many other dogs immediately follow it by barking. Although the street dogs are not appointed by anyone to act as watchmen, they think they are responsible for protecting the neighborhood. And as soon as someone unknown enters it, they all begin to bark. Both yogamaya and mahamaya act in all material activities. Prakrite kriyamani gunai karmani sarvacha. But although the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead acts under the Supreme Lord's direction, maya dyakshena prakriti suyate sa characharam, dog-like watchmen, such as politicians and diplomats, think that they are protecting their neighborhood from the dangers of the outside world. These are the actions of Maya. But one who surrenders to Krishna is relieved of the protection afforded by the dogs and dog-like guardians of this material world. Magyanatimirandasya gyananjana salakaya chakshuru militam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha mukam karoti vacharam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamaham bande shri gurum dinataranam. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, this is the power of yogamaya and the work. I mean, many things happened before the watchman awakened after hearing the child crying, but they didn't know anything of it. The doors of the jail, prison house, opened up. Vasudeva took Krishna to Gokula, put him there, brought back the girl, yogamaya. The door closed back, the shackles went back. But they didn't know nothing of it. So in the same way, so many things going on by Krishna's supreme control, but confused living entity, they think they are the doers of everything, you know. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha ahankara vimudhatma kartahamiti manyate. Like the Bhagavad Gita explains that people think they are the doers of everything, although things are being carried by the three modes of nature. They are under the control of them. But due to their foolishness, they think we are in control of everything. So, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he compared the watchmen to dogs, you know. In the neighborhood, if somebody enters the neighborhood, everybody, if one dog starts barking, all the other dogs start barking. Prabhupada used to use the example that if you arrive in a country, the officer will like watchdogs. Why you're coming here? What is your business here? How long you're gonna stay? How much money you're gonna spend? So many questions, no? Like that. Maybe not so much now, but I mean, maybe yes. Depends which country you go. No? But anyway, I remember going to one Muslim country to preach, and they were asking so many questions, you know. Luckily, I know how to speak Arabic, so I spoke Arabic with them, and they were all friendly, all nice. You know. First, they would not allow me in the country, you know. First time I went to Oman, they would not allow me in the country, although I had a visa, you know. The devotee got me a business visa. And I say, why? They said, you don't have the visa, the one you have, we need a full page to stamp it, and you don't have one single completely empty page. All of them have some stamp in it. So because of that, we can't allow you in the country. Imagine, you know, look, then I knew I had to speak Arabic with them, so I started speaking Arabic and told them, you know, my first time in your beautiful country, you know, I want to know, you know, the culture and all this, you know. Then they soften up, they say, okay, we give a tourist visa for countries like America and Britain. Okay, we'll make exception. Pay $20, we'll give you smallest stamp in any place. And I tell you, it was an amazing visit, you know, to this country, because so many devotees from India live there. But they took me to a temple of Krishna. You know, Muslim countries not allowed to have deities of Krishna. I mean, I've been to other countries like the Emirates, Dubai. They have Krishna and Shiva temple, but they're not allowed to have deities. It's not allowed, only picture, you know. But in this country, in Oman, they have an actual deity of Krishna, you know, and a temple and everything. So I asked the devotee, how is that possible? They explained to me that this deity being there for the last 300 years. Like one Gujarati businessman coming with boat from Africa, going to India, he stopped there for, you know, get food and water. So in the boat he had a Brahmana worshipping Krishna deity. He was a devotee. So the soldiers of the king wanted to search the boat, and the pujari, being afraid that they may harm the deity, he locked himself from inside. So they were trying to turn the door down by force, you know, since he was not opening it. And the devotee started to pray to the deity, to Krishna, please do something, my Lord, protect yourself, protect me, you know, from this danger. And when they finally tore the door down, they saw a gigantic cobra jumping at them. Krishna created an illusion of a gigantic cobra, you know. So they got frightened, they ran to the king and told him what happened, you know. So the king thought, oh, this must be something very powerful, you know, something very special. So he called the captain of the ship to talk to him, and they made friendship, they made good friendship, you know. So the king said, okay, you can have your temple here, no problem, you know. So they built the temple, and the deity of Krishna is still there. I mean, and this is from the Vallabha Sampradaya, from 300 years ago or something. Anyway, the thing is, like 150 years ago, the deity appeared in a dream to the pujari and told him, I want to go back to India. So they have to obey, you know, the desire of the Lord. So they took the deity back to India. But like 70 years ago, the deity again told in a dream in Gujarat, I want to go back to Oman. So they have, but you know, kings changes, people, you know, it's not the same administration, you don't know what is going to happen. So the devotee came in a flight, and he bought 2 seats. The other seat is for the deity, you know. He wrapped it with a cloth, you know, and next to him, you know, like a passenger. He will not take any chances. And then because it was prohibited to bring any deities, even the devotees told me if they bring deities, they will confiscate the deities. They will not allow it in. So this devotee was praying to Krishna because before going out of the airplane, all belonging has to go through X-rays, you know, the machines. So he was praying to Krishna, you know, and he put the deity in the machine, and suddenly the machine stopped working. All the machines broke up. I mean, amazing, you know. No machine was working, you know. They could not understand. Okay, they thought, okay, go away, you know. That's how the deity came back, you know. Krishna does amazing things when he wants something. That's the meaning. Achyuta, infallible. He can do whatever he wants. Advaitam achyuta anadi manantarupa adhyam purana purusham navajovanam cha vedeshu durla maduramatma bhakto govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Whatever he wants, his energy works for under him. If he wants the machine to break, the machine doesn't work anymore. And he comes in. Nobody can stop him. Like that. So, it's in this incident, Kamsa thought he took all precautions to stop the 8th child of Vasudeva and Devaki from killing him. That was the prophecy. So he thought, if I do everything perfectly, no harm will come to me, no matter what. But he's a fool. He doesn't know the power of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you know. And when Vasudha brought back the girl was crying, so everybody wake up, and they told King Kamsa. King Kamsa came hurrying, and he wanted to kill, that's the prophecy, the 8th child. But Devaki told him, no, this is not a boy, this is a girl. The prophecy said it was a boy, so please spare it, And they say, I'm not taking any chances. Sometimes the demigods may lie, because the voice was here from the sky, that the prophecy. So they may lie sometime. So I'm not taking any. He was going to kill the girl. Although his sister, Devaki, was pleading him, please not to do it, crying, and spare this girl, Anyway, when he tried to smash the girl, she flew up in the sky, and she manifested eight arms, She was like Durga. She chastised him. Rascal Kamsa. The one who's going to kill you is already born somewhere else. So the Kamsa asked forgiveness from his sister and brother-in-law and released them. And they were so kind, they forgave him. I mean, imagine that. Somebody kill your own children and you forgive, That's too much, forgiving. So devotees, pure devotees like that, they know everything is under Krishna's control and nothing happened for no reason. So they accepted, So that's why they forgave Kamsa. Kamsa was grateful that he was forgiven. But then he went back to his palace and told his ministers what happened, and all of them were demons. And they advised him, no, you should not take any chances. Any boys who were born the last 10 days should be killed, So they went, all the villages around killing children. Very big demons. So, sometimes when I travel visiting countries, I like to go morning walk, And sometimes there is no proper place to walk, like a park, or we have to walk on neighborhoods, around the temple, because there is no place nearby to go, too far away. And every time you start walking, one dog start barking, all the dogs start barking, We have to put some earplug, to be able to chant, so much barking going on. So this is the problem, that Prabhupada is saying that all this, politicians, they think that they're the watchdog controlling everything, But still, they can't stop it, from people coming in, going out. It's not, they can't control everything. They try to, they want to, but it's not possible. No? So, to say, I remember we one temple we had in South America, the neighbors, they have 2 dogs, the father and the son. And devotees start giving them halva, prasad. The big dog wasn't interested, but the smaller dog was very much interested. And he became addicted to halva. Every time the offering comes out of the altar, he will smell it, and he will start running here and there, very nervous, waiting for it, So, and but then the neighbor told us, please don't give my dog any more food, because when I give him my food, he doesn't want to eat it. He only wants your food. So Prabhupada actually said that by training, even a dog can become purified, can become a devotee. Imagine. I know of many dogs, devotees dogs, who only eat prasad. They don't eat meat anymore. We had one dog like that in New Brajamandala in Spain. And he became accustomed just eating prasad, nothing else. Sometimes he will fall down and go chasing some lizard or something like that. But usually he wasn't. But and we also had the first temple we had, neighbor also had dogs, and one devotee used to chant the mantra Hare Krishna with the guitar, and every time he will sit down doing that, the dogs in the next house start accompanying him, howling as much as he could, So, we have also a story from Chaitanya Charitamrita, how dogs got benefited by the Lord and his pure devotees, You know the story that Shivananda Sena, he was in charge of taking the devotees to Jagannath Puri every year for Ratha Yatra and to see Lord Chaitanya. And they will go hundreds of devotees, like talking about 900 devotees or something like that. And one time, one stray dogs followed them. So Shivananda Sena started giving the dog prasad. The dog became attached to him. So he will go along with him all the time, and So they have to cross the river, and the owner of the boat didn't want to allow the dog in the boat. So Shivananda Sena paid him extra money to allow it. And then they came out nearby Jagannath Puri. So Shivananda Sena told the devotees, I'm gonna, get you rooms for all of you. Wait for me here, but please don't forget to feed the dog. Yes, of course. So Shivananda Sena went, he arranged all accommodations for everyone and came back and told them everything is arranged. Where is the dog? Well, we don't know. Did you give him prasad? Sorry, we forgot. Typical of devotees, to forget things. So anyway, go search for the dog and feed him prasad. They were searching for the dog even at night with torchlight. They couldn't find it. So they said, okay, let's take rest. Tomorrow morning we'll go see Lord Chaitanya. Next day morning they arrived at the house where Lord Chaitanya was staying, and he was surrounded by devotees, and to their great amazement, that same dog was there. And Lord Chaitanya was throwing coconut prasad to the dog, fresh coconut, and he was jumping and catching it. Then Lord Chaitanya ordered the dog, chant the names of Krishna. And the dog started, he stood up and two legs started, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. He was chanting Krishna's name. So all the devotees paid obeisance to the dog, asking forgiveness for not feeding him the other day. So dog will come every day, and every day was the same pastime. Lord Chaitanya feeding the dog and make him dance and chant was happening. This reminds me when the movement started in South America, in Venezuela, we were going Harinam daily for 6-7 hours every day, 8 hours every day. We'll distribute magazines and, and chant, and people, something new, so hundreds of people will stop just to see the dancing and chanting of the devotees. So one day, the kirtan was, very enlivened, and everybody was dancing, and one stray dog came in front of the devotees, and he started dancing, like trying to catch his own tail, going around like that, and going the other way, started making few jumps, So one man was watching nearby. He said, "Oh, you have trained him very nicely." He thought that we trained him to do that. Anyway, and the devotee were giving Sundar wonderful, and they gave the dog one simple wonderful. He was happy. He went very happy, And he will come every time devotees will come for kirtan. He will come around, So I mean to say, even this chanting Hare Krishna is so wonderful that even animals can get the benefit, Like when Lord Chaitanya asked Haridas Thakur, how these living entities, non-human living entities, will get benefit. You know? I'm anxious about their well-being. Lord Chaitanya, loves all living entities. So he wanted also to benefit non-humans too. And Haridas Thakur, my dear Lord, please don't be in anxiety about them. If they hear the devotees loud chanting your holy name, they will get spiritual benefit too. So that's the importance of practicing and chanting the holy name. Yesterday, all the ladies that attend the program, we ended the program with kirtan, you know. We encouraged them to dance, and what it was, Subhapra was encouraging them to dance, showing them the steps, the Swami steps and everything. It was very nice. So that was very good experience. People are, you know, they need spiritual life. Like one lady was saying, you know, that I pray to the universe. I said, better pray to the creator of the universe. The universe is not a person, you know. Better, you know, go to the root of creation, you know. I told them, if you have a tree and you want to see it grow nicely and healthy, it's not enough just to water the leaves. You have to water the root. Then naturally the trunk, the leaves, the branches, everything is nurtured. In the same way, if you want to be, you know, in touch with the universe and everything, go to the root of the universe, which is the Supreme Lord. So they asked me nice questions, and they were very interested. They bought books also. They loved the prasad. The devotees prepared a nice halva, you know, so they love it. Anyway, it's nice people come to know about Krishna consciousness, because people are in need, spiritual need. And the only hope is come in touch with the philosophy, the knowledge that Prabhupada is giving everyone as a relief program. It's a relief program. No? So, any questions? Yes?
You were talking about that story of Sankirtan in Venezuela.
Yes.
And I know you're a long-time Sankirtan devotee. Is that right?
Yes.
Do you mind telling a few other Sankirtan stories?
Sankirtan story, of course. Yeah. I would love to. But let's see if anybody has any other philosophical question before. Give him the mic, please. No.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
You were talking about yogamaya and mahamaya?
Yes.
How do I know the difference when I'm under the influence?
Okay, the difference between mahamaya and yogamaya is, mahamaya is the external energy of Krishna, the material energy. And yogamaya is the internal potency of the Lord. So one of them takes charge of the material world, and the other takes charge of the spiritual, internal activities of the Lord. So Yogamaya appeared as Krishna's sister. That's interesting because, you know, it's planet is Durga, but actually Durga is an expansion of Subhadra, Krishna's sister. So Subhadra is also Yogamaya, and she expanded like Durga. So that's why it is explained here that she is Yogamaya, although usually Durga is known as Mahamaya, as in charge of the material energy. But since she's an expansion of Lady Subhadra, Krishna's sister, it is addressed here as Yogamaya, the internal potency of the Lord.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for your class, and thank you for blessing us with your presence in Chicago.
Thank you.
So thank you for a wonderful class. You were mentioning Guruji, I believe, the person who was fighting in courts.
That's Guru Maharaji.
Guru Maharaji. Yeah. And I appreciate that point because you were saying that he was arguing that I'm the supreme protector.
Yeah.
But you said he couldn't protect himself from his secretary or his girlfriend.
Right.
And so in our situation, we see that, we try so many avenues, or in America, they have national security, and the politicians, same thing. They say I could protect you from, the outward enemies, but then we change politicians every like 2 weeks because they couldn't protect themselves from greed or anything. So my question is that even though we know Krishna is the supreme controller, the supreme protector, but sometimes as devotees, we take the position of Krishna, I could protect you from this, I could protect you from that. Like parents may want to protect their child, but then it turns out that their child turns out to be a criminal too, because they couldn't protect them from their inner demons. So what is a person to do? What should be the focus? Because, even though, we try to protect ourselves from, the outward demons, but that may be the case, but should we focus on just the inner demons, or we know Krishna's, the control of everything, so what should be our main focus of protection? So
well, we should always seek Krishna's protection. I mean to say, and how we seek Krishna's protection? By following Krishna's instructions. I mean, we should teach to the children by example. If they see their parents practicing what they are telling them, then the children will be respectful to the parents. But if they see double standard, that they preach something, do something else, then they lose respect for the parents and the elders too. And that's actually the problem. The main problem is children becoming more rebellious because they don't see good example to be followed. They see a lot of hypocrisy. And that's why they lose faith. And that's why they fall in bad association and they do, wrong things. So I think education should start at home, with the parents giving good example, and encouraging them to have a moral and spiritual values in their lives. That's the way to protect them. Of course, free will is there. If they don't want to, then you can't force them. But it's the duty of the parents to try their best to protect them from the influence of materialistic people, like that. It is the duty of. They should try their best. Sometimes even with their best effort, still, like you said, may deviate and things, but it's the duty to do the best they can. For example, recently I was in Argentina, and one lady devotee asked me to talk to her 11-year-old daughter, because she's been influenced by the atheistic philosophies at schools, that there's Big Bang and there is no God and Darwin's evolution. What they teach children, all these things, to make them atheists, in the school, So the girl was confused because the mother was teaching her something else, and at school they teach something different. So the mother asked me to preach to her. So I talked to the girl and I told her, you're an intelligent girl, try to use your common sense. Have you ever seen anything appearing from nowhere? Like if I tell you this book I'm holding in my hand, it just happened to appear in my hand suddenly. Will you believe that? She says, of course not. This book has a design, so somebody have designed the book. And somebody should have wrote the book, isn't? So that makes sense, isn't? So how is that, if you see the universe, there is some order, the planets are going their orbits, there's no accidents. Who put the invisible line on the sky so every planet go their orbit without colliding with others? So use your common sense. And you see, everything that has a form or shape, a design, must have a designer, and also a purpose. Everything has a purpose. If you see the sun has a shape, and also a purpose, the purpose to give heat and light to the universe. So, human forms also has a purpose, and that's to understand God. If you can't understand God, just deny His existence, how intelligent is that? She said, well, I asked her, who is more convincing, your atheist teacher or me? She said, no, I agree more with you. Say, good girl. So anyway, I mean, we have to protect them from this, you know, atheist philosophies going around, you know. I mean, to say. Once I was in Costa Rica, and the devotees brought me the newspaper. I don't read the newspaper, but they thought something important I should see. The front page had a monkey, a human being, and then religious preacher, you know, like a bishop or something, telling about humans that we came from the monkey. but the soul was put by God. He's trying to be with the devil and God at the same time. He's talking about that human beings came from the monkey, but the soul was given by God. He's trying to be, you know, okay with both ideas, you know. But it doesn't make sense, because, I mean, we accept evolution in the sense that the body is evolving from one species to a higher species, but what is evolving is the soul inside the body. So since Darwin was Christian before, and Christians don't accept that the animals have a soul, so he explained this evolution without soul, and that's why he became atheistic. If they I mean, there's no problem with the evolution if you accept that the soul is evolving to human life, not that the body becomes transformed by some magic, you know, like that. So anyway, so much ignorance is in the world, and Prabhupada say we have to kick what is his name? Darwin's with the boot on the face, he said. Means philosophically we have to defeat these false theories. It's a big challenge because, you know, it's like science nowadays becomes like a fanatical religion. Anything that doesn't agree with their ideas, they try to hide it or suppress it, or even sometimes they ban scientists to discover something contradicting their theory. They try to, you know, banish the person somehow, damage the person's reputation or something, just because their findings doesn't agree with their theories. So it's becoming more like political and atheistic agenda to push, you know. Anyway, any other questions? Yes?
Thank you, Maharaj. Is it correct that when Krishna was born, there was an order sent out from Kamsa to kill all children in Gokul?
All the surrounding villages. But that happened, yes, we just read that. That happened when the girl was released from Kamsa's hands, and she told him the child who's gonna kill you, he already took birth somewhere else.
So I know you do a lot of preaching in South America, which is primarily Christian area.
Yeah.
Sometimes I notice a lot of similarities in Krishna's appearance and Jesus Christ. Same, the birth was in Krishna's pastime, the name-giving ceremony was in secret because people were, and similarly Christ in the manger, and they had to mark the doors with blood And so sometimes I notice some parallels.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you, in your preaching, how you address that and
Yes.
any understanding of Jesus Christ in light of Vaishnava.
Of course, yes. The thing is, you know, when the Britishers went to India they were ruling India to preach the Christianity, they tried to diminish the importance of the Vedas. And that's why they were saying that the Vedas were only 1500 years old. That means the Bible was first. So because some similar stories, they want to say that they were borrowed from the Bible and not the other way around. No? So, but their attempt failed because same science helped to prove that the Vedas were much more ancient than the Bible. You know, the NASA satellite discovered the dry bank of the Saraswati River, and they studied the sediments, and the river dried 4,000 years ago. And the Bhagavatam and Rig Veda speak about Saraswati River flowing through the hermitage of the sages and like that. So that's definite proof that the Vedas, at least they were older than 4,000 years old. So that's the way to, you know. And you find also the birth of Moses very similar to Karna, that Moses was put in a basket in the river. So Karna was also put in a basket in the river. So some similarities are there in the stories. But the way I address it to help people understand Krishna consciousness, now yesterday many Christians people were there too, you know, Catholics. And so the way I explain it is that Jesus, we accept Jesus as the Son of God. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that he's Sakti Avesha Avatar. He's an empowered incarnation of the Lord. He's not God, but he's empowered by God, you know. So in that way we explain it, that Father and Son have no different opinion. Maybe Jesus didn't say everything he knew, because in the Bible itself he say that there are more truth to be told, but you are not ready to understand. So I ask people, give up prejudice, open up your mind, you know. Maybe the thing he didn't say, we are trying to share with you here with the Vedas, you know, more ancient knowledge. So people start listening, and they find it that we use a lot of common sense, you know, and logic, so it's more easy for them to accept, you know, or understand. So basically, in essence, there is no difference, because, I mean, when they asked Jesus what is the highest command, he said to love God above everything else with all your heart and all your soul, and to love your neighbors as yourself. Prabhupada said that's a great teaching, to love God above everything else, you know. But the neighbor thing should not be only to humans, should be extended to animals too, because if they are capable of suffering and feeling pain, that makes them our neighbor too. So that's what is lacking actually. So I explained that too. The being compassionate. Without compassion, you can't be a true Christian. I tell them the story, one great saint, Saint Francis of Assisi, when he was building his church, people would bring gifts, you know, flowers and things. And one day they brought a little sheep, you know, to be killed, to be sacrificed. So one of the monks grabbed the sheep and looked at his face. Oh, he looks like my brother John, you know. No, he gave it to another one. The other, oh no, he looked like brother Elijah. No, you take it, you know. So they passed it through other hands and came to the hands of Saint Francis. And he smiled and he told his disciples, now I can see you have developed the Christian compassion, you know. See, he acknowledged that. And there is a famous story of him. I've read his biography, very interesting, that he arrived in the town to preach to the people, and he saw the people getting ready, you know, with weapons, things. He said, what's going on? Oh, we're going to chase after the wolf because he come and kill our animals. Oh, no, please don't do that. But he's harming our animals. We have to kill it. No, let me make some arrangement come to some agreement with the wolf, you know. And how can you make an agreement with the wolf? Don't worry, but will you agree if he stop attacking your animals that you put some food for him at the entrance of the town so he will not bother your animals? Will you agree with that? Yeah, yes, of course we agree, but we doubt that will happen. It's an animal. How can you come to some agreement with an animal? So leave it to me. So he went with them to search for the wolf, and they found the wolf. So he walked toward the wolf and bent on his knee and started talking to the wolf. The wolf was moving his head. So then he extended his hand to the wolf, and the wolf extended his palm, you know. They shook, agreed, you know. And he stopped attacking animals anymore. He was accepting the food they will put there. And Prabhupada said about him that he had Paramatma realization. He realized Paramatma in the heart of every living entity. So there are saints in every religion. And Krishna Consciousness is very open-minded to acknowledge them. We have no problem with that. And that's what attracts people about Krishna Consciousness, that we are not close-minded, that we accept, all their sins. Yeah, we agree, no problem. Some people ask me, can I chant Hare Krishna, become devotee, but still go to my Christian church? I said, no problem at all. You still can go to your church, but keep chanting Hare Krishna, no problem. So if people are not like, they see we are not like sectarian, so they are more, more easy for them to accept the process of chanting and becoming vegetarian. But if you tell them, no, don't go to them, they are meat eaters, and they stop coming to the temple. Because they don't want to feel that they are betraying, And in the course of time, they will realize, if you go to college, you don't need to go to school anymore. And when they make some advancement. Hare Krishna. So I will tell you one Sankirtan story, a real one, and has to do with Prabhupada. When Prabhupada was coming to Venezuela from Mexico City, he was flying from Mexico City. The Shrutakirti, the servant at that time, he forgot to bring prasad for the flight, from the temple, because Prabhupada will not take from the airplanes, But fortunately, one Indian lady devotee, she gave him some prasad at the airport. This is for Prabhupada, Not many Indians in Mexico, there are a few. And they come to the temple, visit the temple. Anyway, when the flight took off, Prabhupada said, what is the prasad? And Shrutakirti asked, Prabhupada, will you like something from the plane? No, we should have our own prasad. So he didn't know what was. He opened the aluminum folder, and there was inside puffed rice with peanuts and spices. Muri, we call it. So the devotee offered to Prabhupada. Prabhupada was eating. Although it wasn't too much, he only ate like half. And he told the devotee, okay, you can take. So Shrutakirti shared it with another devotee next to him, sitting along the same with Prabhupada next to him. And they were eating happily their Maha Prasad, And suddenly, a stewardess passed through, a young girl, and without telling a word, she grabbed a bunch of puffed rice and bumped it in her mouth, without even asking permission, And the devotee were shocked, but Prabhupada was smiling at her, you know, like, you did well, you know. So anyway, I mean, it wasn't very professional to do something like that. But then she asked, and what is this? It's so nice, very tasty. So Prabhupada explained to her what it was, you know. At that time was not much known, puffed rice. Anyway, she said, that's all you're going to eat? They said, well, we are vegetarians. Unless you get us some fruits, we will not take any. Oh, she brought a basket full of fruits and served it to Prabhupada and to the devotee. Plates and knife and everything. And Prabhupada was smiling at her. And then she came later and said, would you like something more? And Shuddhakarti asked Prabhupada, would you like to have milk? Prabhupada said, yes, very hot. So she ran and brought a jar full of hot milk and served Prabhupada and everything, you know. So, I mean to say, Shuddhakarti told me that when he traveled with Prabhupada in the temples, sometimes the devotee will offer him a bribe to get the Maha Prasad from Prabhupada's plate, you know. He said he never accepted any money. Or even to do some personal service to Prabhupada, you know. But this lady, she stole the mercy. She grabbed the Mahaprasad. She stole it and did service to him. I mean, that's Paramatma's inspired her to do that. Anyway, so that was in 75. So in the beginning of the 80s, the devotees were doing Sankirtan in one town in the border with Brazil, in Venezuela. So one devotee knocked somebody's home, and the lady told him, yes, I would like to buy your books, please come to my house. So the devotee came in, and she said, I will buy all the sets, you know, you have. And he noticed that she had pictures of Prabhupada and Krishna and all the set of the Bhagavatam in English. And he said, how you got this? He said, oh, I was a stewardess and I met Prabhupada on a flight. And then I started visiting the LA temple and I became devotee. I chanted 16 rounds and followed the 4 rules. One moment of association with Prabhupada had permanent effect, you know. Hare Krishna. All right. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.